watching TVC News at 1. Let's turn our attention to business. According to latest monthly purchasing managers index by Stanbic IBTC, the headline index in the country declined to 51.0 last month from 54.5 in January. Readings above 50 signaled an improvement in business conditions, while those below showed deterioration. Now, business activity in the country dropped to the lowest in 3 months, largely on the back of the weakness of the naira. Also intensified prices pressures, and the private sector caused business confidence to drop to the lowest on record. But away from there now, international airlines have opened cheaper ticket inventories for travelers from Nigeria following Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority interventions. This development comes as a result of successful negotiations conducted by the NCAA with international airlines operating within Nigeria. The foreign airlines that have opened their lower ticket inventory include KLM, Egypt Air, Ethiopian Airlines, British Airways, among others. Earlier, Air Peace had crashed its fares ahead of its inaugural flight to Gatwick International Airport, London, from the Murtala International Airport in Lagos. The change is attributed to strategic meetings led by the Director General of Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Chris Najomo, on February 12th, which were specifically aimed at negotiating more affordable airfares rates from foreign airlines for Nigerians. And in the meantime, across the world, agriculture is the mainstay of many economies. Apart from ensuring food security for citizens, it also provides jobs and account for a significant proportion of GDP of most countries. As part of its effort to unlock agricultural prosperity and boost the economic contribution of the sector, the Lagos state government has taken a bold step in encouraging and mentoring young agripreneurs in the use of modern technology and innovations in achieving the state target of self-food sufficiency. The State Commissioner for Agriculture, Ms. Abisola Ogunsoya, Ulusoya, said the state government is committed to equipping young Lagosians in agribusiness with basic knowledge and skills, as well as fostering an ecosystem that supports the growth of agribusiness and startups across the state.
A tribe of very young people doing great things in the agri space that you and I would otherwise not hear about, but they are there. We are at a turning point in the history of Nigeria, where food insecurity has not become such a major challenge, but we face a bigger problem. The younger generation, you're talking of your primary schools, your secondary schools, they do not aspire to go into anything related to food. And as such, that becomes a big problem, a big challenge that we must tackle head on, which is why Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo mandated that as a state, as Lagos, as a city of aquatic splendor, the tech hub of West Africa, we have to be different.
This is one way government is creating an enabling environment for businesses by giving them access to the right knowledge, access to professionals in the field who understand the journey and are able to handhold them through their growth process. The data says within 3 to 5 years, 80% of businesses fail. If you have more innovations like this across the country, I'm sure that data will come down. And if that data comes down, it will ripple effect on the economy.
As a country of 200 million people and growing at 6.7%, we cannot afford not to take agriculture as a big deal. And so my charge to the young entrepreneurs in agri is how they use technology to be able to scale their business, and they'll do, as few and as young as they are, how they use technology to transform their business and increase our production and the capability of Nigeria and Nigerians to feed ourselves.
Now, the UK's spending watchdog says the cost of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda could exceed $580 million by the end of the decade if the controversial scheme comes into force. The figure, which includes aid payment to Rwanda of up to £500 million and £800 million in operating and setup costs, is likely to raise further concerns about the value of a policy that has attracted fierce criticism from charities, right groups, and opposition member of parliament. However, the scheme has been stalled by legal challenges and no one has been relocated there yet.
This scheme will cost the taxpayer over £500 million just to send 300 people to Rwanda. That is less than 1% of those arriving in the country. It's a cost of about £2 million per person. This is a shocking revelation in this report that they've tried to hide. We should be investing that money in boosting our border security, in going after the criminal smuggler gangs instead.
And out in China, the latest factory survey shows that manufacturing activity in February contracted for a fifth straight month, raising the pressure on policymakers to roll out further stimulus measures as factory owners struggle for orders. Purchasing Managers Index fell to 49.1 in February from 49.2 in January, below the 50 mark, separating growth from contraction and in line with a median forecast of 49.1, while non-manufacturing PMI, which includes services and construction, rose to 51.4 and from 50.7 in January, marking the highest reading since September last year due to robust activity during the New York holidays. The world's second biggest economy has been grappling with subpar growth over the past year amid a property crisis and as consumer hoarding of spending, foreign firms that invest in manufacturers struggle for buyers, and local government contend with huge debt burdens. And crude oil prices edged up earlier today and were set to end the week modestly higher as markets awaited an OPEC Plus decision and supply agreement for the second quarter amid differing demand indicators for key consumers. U.S. and China, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell at $70.88 per barrel with an upsurge of 0.79%. Brent crude futures also experienced an upward price margin of 0.85%, selling at $82.61 per barrel. Burning light sells at $85.33 per barrel with an uptick of 0.35%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $82.01 per barrel with a price decline of 0.01%. And that's all for business.